Imagine Al-Harasmi, Al-Biruni, or even Sina waking up early in the morning and saying, I don't feel like reading or working on my book today. I'm not motivated enough. Maybe I need to watch a motivational video first. Imagine this. If they had thought like that, we wouldn't know their names today. There would be no big discoveries, no books, no breakthroughs that shaped the world. And do you really think that they sat and waited for some kind of motivation? No. What pushed them forward was something so much stronger. It was the purpose that was the fuel in their life. Okay, let's leave the world of history behind and look around us today. You know, how many people today buy expensive motivational courses, feel excited for a few days, and never apply the things that they've learned? I saw this happen in my own life, in my own family. I remember my dad and my brother once bought a very expensive financial course. I remember they came back from the training full of excited. They were making plans. They were talking about business ideas, some news. And for a moment, I thought like everything was going to change in our family. And I even believed that we all would be millionaires within a year. And weeks passed, months passed, and there was no change. Plans were forgotten, yeah. And lessons, if you go and ask them now, I'm sure they can't remember a single word from the training. And that was the moment when I started to question the motivation, the motivational lessons. And I thought, like, if motivation is so powerful, why doesn't it last long? Why doesn't it lead to something great or real action? And then I thought about my own story. A couple of years ago, I decided to apply for universities abroad. I didn't have experience. I didn't have many people to guide me. And in fact, there are lots of people who tried to discourage me from applying. Some said, Aziza, this is just a waste of time because it's impossible. And others said, just stay where you are because it's safer. So honestly, there were no one motivating me behind, just cheering me up, doing something together with me. I was all alone. And you know what? I remember waking up early in the morning to work on my essays and staying up very late, even on the new year, to fix my documents. And I remember walking from room to room at my school to find some documents, to find some papers that my teachers even couldn't help me with. Yeah, I admit it was a very depressing, exhausting process. But somehow I didn't stop. And then I realized it when I look back now. It wasn't the motivation that kept me going. It was the reason, the purpose in my heart that kept me going. And then let's move on to another life scenario. Let's talk about my professional world. In fact, through this journey, I saw the same pattern, not in my life, but in others' lives, especially my students. Well, let's think about another question. How many of you today watch motivational videos, success stories, or some speakers, and you feel like, wow, this inspired me so much. Yeah, they inspire you. And then after a moment, after a few days, they fade away. And this is what I see every day with my students. They come and say, oh teacher, yesterday I watched a video about someone who studied abroad. And I saw an entrepreneur sharing his journey. This inspired me a lot. And I really see that they feel inspired. And after a few days, I see the same lazy students who do little or no homework. The same students. And then you know what? But we have another side of the coin. I have some students who quietly come to the classroom. They sit in the corner of the room They don't speak that much, they open their books, they do what they are supposed to do, and they usually get high results. They are successful, but they are usually quiet. And this life example made me challenge my question again. So it's not the motivation that makes them keep going, but their reason, that their drive in their heart. And the last thing, let's talk about all of us. Not my students, not my father, not me, but all of us. How many of you sit down at the end of December, full of excitement, and writing down your resolution, New Year resolution, let's say, I will lose weight, I will read more, I will apply for that project, I will apply for that job, I will be successful, I will take up that sport. You will start in the beginning of January, is full of excitement, but how many of you have actually followed those dreams, those goals in April, in March, maybe in October? How many of these goals are still alive even now, not in the beginning of January, like we all used to do? So, here,
So, mine is not from December. I just graduated my freshman year in May. So, after graduating that, I was like planning everything for my summer. I will learn this language, I will learn that language, and I will start writing essays, I will start writing poems more. And now, like, 15 days of June already passed, but still I'm like doing nothing. I'm just planning everything still. Now I lost my excitement. I was like, I'm almost tired, I will do it tomorrow.
Yes,
But
exactly.
but before summer, I was like planning out my everything, like time to time, minute by minute. But now, like everything just take away.
Yeah,
So
you know,
it's the same again.
if you go and open my paper, open my New Year resolution, let's say, you will see that I will be a genius, isn't it? But now I'm not genius, just studying here in a local university, and this is what happens all the time. So you might think like, okay, so motivation is not working. What should you do if motivation fades away? What made me, keep going? What made me keep applying for universities when no one supported me beside? And what makes some of my students keep studying quietly when other students lose interest easily? I guess it's the purpose. The answer is simple, just a purpose, a drive in your heart. Well, okay, so the answer is found. You may think, where does the purpose come from? You know, for some, it comes from a family, because they want to build a better life for their loved ones. You know, think about your parents. Do your parents say that, well, I'm not motivated today to work, to feed my kids? No, they have a purpose, and they always try to build a better life for their children. And for some people, the purpose comes from a community that they belong to. They look around their community, they look around their country and say, I want to know that my efforts help those community. And for some, it comes from faith. Okay, from a religious side, it comes from faith and values. Because they want to know that they are serving for something really great. Their life is serving something great. And for others, let's say, it comes from some personal experiences, dreams, or even personal pain that shaped the person who they are today. So, you know, my message, you can think of my message like driving a car. Your life is the car, and the road is your journey. So, what makes the car move fast? What do you think? What makes the car move? So, the engine, the petrol, you may say, the gas. So, let's say a fuel. The fuel makes the car move. And you know, these days, lots of people are filling their fuel tank with motivation. Let's say a cheap petrol. It works, of course, but for a short time. And then what happens? In the middle of the road, they start looking for some motivation, some cheap petrol again. They want to see the next speaker, the next motivational video, the next speaker, and it's a never-ending cycle again and again. And there are other people, there are few people, let's admit, who fill their fuel tank with purpose. And they drive much further than the first category. Well, you know, this doesn't mean that the roads will be easy. Of course, there will be hills, there will be traffic, and there will be breakdowns. But that purpose makes them keep going no matter what. That purpose carries them through hard days. And this is what happened when I was applying to universities. So right now, I have shown you the road. Like your car is cheap petrol, is cheap motivation, and your car is purpose that serves as fuel. And this is your choice to choose one of them.